Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. California gets a gun tax. The funds plan to go to the public schools. The governor also signed into law a series of other gun control measures. The state's top education official announced his bid to replace Newsom as governor. This comes even after he was previously endorsed by Democratic Governor Newsom. Biden visits California for a short campaign trip. He attends a series of private fundraisers in the San Francisco Bay Area. A first in the nation, California now has a state-level firearm tax. The governor also signs a series of gun bills ranging from concealed carry to micro-stamping. NTD's Eileen Ang has more.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed a series of gun control measures into law on Tuesday. One is AB 28. It raises taxes on guns and ammunition to pay for more security at public schools and various violence prevention programs.
We need to do more to protect our kids, and we need to do more to protect our communities. And this very simple, very straightforward excise tax is going to raise historic resources.
The federal government already has sales taxes on guns and ammunition at either 10 or 11%, depending on the type of gun. The law Newsom signed adds another 11% tax on top of that, making California the only state with its own tax on guns and ammunition. Newsom said that gun violence already costs taxpayers a lot of money in health impacts and the criminal justice system.
This is not a general income tax, not a corporate tax. This is not, it's from my perspective, more of a sin tax where there's a cause and effect and justification.
The law is expected to generate $160 million annually. In an email statement to NTD, the California Rifle and Pistol Association said the law would not have any effect on criminals. The governor says this is only a tax on the gun industry, but the gun industry is not responsible for criminals terrorizing store owners and citizens. Those policies fall squarely on Newsom and a legislature who refuses to take any real action against those who commit crimes in our state. The association's president has also criticized the new laws, calling them unconstitutional. Newsom also signed a law overhauling state rules for carrying concealed weapons. California's new law bans people from carrying guns in nearly all public places, including public parks and playgrounds, public demonstrations and gatherings, amusement parks, churches, banks, and any place where alcohol is sold. Newsom also signed a law that would require all semi-automatic pistols sold in California to have micro-stamping technology starting July 2028.
So what this does is it allows law enforcement to solve crimes more quickly because it connects the bullet to the gun.
According to 2021 data from the CDC, California ranks second out of 50 states for the most number of gun-related deaths recorded. The state has a lower death rate due to its large population. California also has the most number of gun laws in the country.
Now the Firearms Policy Coalition is suing the state in response to the new concealed carry law. They said the law is, quote, fundamentally inconsistent with the Second Amendment and the Supreme Court's previous decisions. About 100 businesses owners protested in Oakland, California on Tuesday, demanding that the city do something to address crime. NTD's Andrew Thomas has one local's take on the problem.
Janos Haile has been running Heavenly Heating and Air in Oakland, California since 2018. He's had 3 work vehicles stolen in the past 5 years.
I didn't have a storage yet at the time. Van got stolen, downtown Oakland, Courtyard Marriott, parking lot. They let me see the video, car came in, guy gets out of the passenger seat, busts out the passenger door lock, hops in the van, 30 seconds, he's gone.
Each time, Haile had to immediately replace stolen pieces of equipment to keep his contract jobs. He also lost a laptop.
Maybe a month later on Clay Street, right by the State Building, van gets stolen again, daytime. And this time they take everything. They took the catalytic converters, they had 4 of them. They took all the material, screws, tape. Like, they took everything, like cleaned it out. Like, it made me think they had a shop or something.
Haile showed off his tools and described how the cost of the stolen items adds up.
These are $40, you know? So it's like every time they steal something, you know, it's like $180, a screw kit, you know? Every time they hit us, it's thousands of dollars, you know?
Haile said he's lost hope in the Oakland City leadership. Instead, he relies on himself and finds a way to persevere. despite the local government's failure to rein in crime.
In all honesty, when something happens, I just figure out a way, how do I get past this? I expect them to not help. I mean, there's a lot of people there at the protest today, I think expecting a lot from the local. I don't expect anything from them.
Haile is particularly angry about Oakland's failure to meet a deadline for the state's organized retail theft grant program.
I think that they do not care, and I think that they should get more involved. If they're taking a salary, they should feel personal responsibility and obligation to the city and its residents.
A number of neighboring Bay Area cities all qualified for the program. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
California's top education official announced that he is running for governor in 2026. This comes after he was entangled in several debates over school board policies this summer.
The California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, on Tuesday announced his bid for governor in 2026. This comes amid debates about the rights of students and parents and what role the state should play as school boards approve class materials. If elected, Thurmond would be the first Black person to become California's governor. He says he wants to address income inequality, ensure schools are better funded, and speed up the state's transition to renewable energy.
Our campaign isn't about any one person. It's about people who are struggling across our state. Because California should be a place where everyone has a chance to succeed.
He joins an already crowded race for governor, though the election is more than 3 years away. California Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis and former state controller Betty Yee, both Democrats, have also announced their own bids, and Democratic Attorney General Rob Bonta said he is considering joining the race. Newsom cannot seek a third term. Before Thurmond became the state's superintendent in 2019, he served on the West Contra Costa School Board, on the Richmond City Council, and in the state assembly. Thurmond has become involved recently in several debates over school board policies, and he was kicked out of a Chino Valley Unified School Board meeting over the summer. He spoke over the time limit when opposing a policy to require school staff to notify parents if their child changes their pronouns or gender identity. Bonta sued the district over the policy, saying it discriminated against students. A judge then halted the policy while the litigation played out. Thurmond supported a bill Newsom signed into law Monday to ban school boards from rejecting textbooks because they teach about the contributions of people from different racial backgrounds, sexual orientations, or gender identities.
President Biden says a government shutdown is inevitable. His comment comes as he visits California for a series of private fundraisers and a meeting with tech advisors. NTD's David Lamb reports.
President Biden visits California for a 2-day trip. He attended several private fundraisers in the San Francisco Bay Area on Tuesday evening before making his way down the peninsula on Wednesday.
We're in a situation where we used to have a significant portion of our GDP going into research and development. And it got down to 0.7% from 2%.
Biden's remarks came as he met with the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Speakers said they will report on recommendations on medical patient safety and experience, as well as possibilities and risks of artificial intelligence. They want to use it to predict weather extremes as climate change, create materials, and understand the origins of the universe. Biden's visit and fundraiser events come as Congress continues to grapple with an impending government shutdown on October 1st. Both houses are unable to agree on budget bills. But Biden told reporters during his California visit,
I don't think anything's inevitable in politics. And I'll just say, if we have a government shutdown, a lot of vital work in science and health could be impacted, from cancer research to food safety.
While the Biden administration is looking into AI technology, Jim Shoemaker, running for California Senate, told NTD the administration's economic policies have hindered technological growth in California.
This state is so powerful in the ability to create new technology that it's foolish for this administration that we have to stifle that technology advancements that we have.
Biden plans to head to Arizona Wednesday night. In Santa Clara, California, David Lamb, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. A lake in LA raises alarms as toxic algae takes over. Officials are asking the public to avoid the waters. 2 former Riverside County deputies face legal charges. One is a drug-related case, the other rape and bribery. A pod of dolphins treat boaters to a magic show. The glowed blue swimming through bioluminescent waters. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Zhang. Toxic blue-green algae is raising alarms, posing a risk to public safety at a California lake. NTD's Stephanie Secal has all the details.
The California Department of Water Resources has issued a warning about Castaic Lake due to a potential dangerous algae bloom. Elevated toxin levels from blue-green algae have been detected, promoting concerns for public safety. People are advised to avoid swimming, recreation, and consuming fish or shellfish from the lake, as well as any contact with algal scum. While boating is allowed, water-related activities are discouraged. The warning applies to the entire lake, excluding Castaic Lagoon, and pet owners are urged to keep their animals away from the water. Cyanobacteria, the blue-green algae, can cause health issues, including rashes, eye irritation, vomiting, and diarrhea. Immediate medical attention is recommended for those exposed. The warning remains in effect until further notice. For more information, visit the California Department of Public Health's website. Stephanie Secal, NTD News, Los Angeles.
In a twisted turn of events, 2 former Riverside County deputies find themselves facing legal charges in unrelated cases, each facing their own set of allegations. NTD's Christina Corona has the details.
A former Riverside County Sheriff's Department correctional deputy, Jorge Oseguera Roca, age 25, is facing local felony charges after being pulled over in Kelly Mesa on September 17th. During the stop, authorities discovered a gun and over 100 pounds of fentanyl in his possession. Oseguera Roca had been under investigation for his involvement in trafficking narcotics within Riverside County while off duty. He is now charged with possession of narcotics, intent to distribute narcotics, firearm possession in conjunction with narcotics, and is being held on $5 million bail. Prosecutors alleged for the first time that he likely has ties to a Mexican drug cartel. In a separate incident, Christian Heidecker, a former Riverside correctional deputy, aged 32, is facing 18 felony charges related to rape, bribery, and sextortion. Heidecker was placed on administrative leave, and lawyers representing alleged victims have accused the department of attempting to cover up his crimes while the county officials were negotiating a settlement agreement just before he turned himself in. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
One Southern California intersection has been called the state's worst intersection. NTD's Stephanie Secal has more on why even seasoned drivers avoid the so-called Fairfax asterisk.
Discover the intersection that Reddit users have labeled as the worst in California. Even the most experienced drivers in Los Angeles would advise avoiding this intersection if possible. Reddit users called the intersection at Fairfax Avenue, Olympic Boulevard, and San Vicente Boulevard in Los Angeles as the worst intersection in California. In contrast to a standard 6-way intersection where synchronized traffic signals guide drivers, at this intersection, San Vicente first intersects with Fairfax Avenue and then with Olympic Boulevard, forcing drivers to endure 2 traffic light cycles to cross a single intersection. Referred to as the Fairfax asterisk by locals, numerous LA drivers have expressed their unease and anxiety about navigating this intersection. One Reddit user shared, "If you think this intersection is a nightmare in a car, try being elderly or disabled and try to make the long crossing in time. Hint, you can't." However, not all users agreed that the Fairfax asterisk held the title of the worst intersection in California. Some argued that major intersections in Beverly Hills and Hollywood were even worse in the Golden State. In 2021, actress Mindy Kaling posed a similar question to her followers, and many of them concurred that the infamous asterisk was indeed the most challenging intersection in the state. While opinions differ, it's clear that this intersection continues to be a topic of debate and frustration among locals. Stephanie Sakal, NTD News, Los Angeles.
As the COVID-related safeguards have been lifted, the monthly increase in the number of renters at risk of eviction in Los Angeles continues to surge. NTD's Christina Corona has more on the story.
According to data by the LA Comptroller's Office, between February and the end of August, roughly 50,000 eviction notices were submitted by property owners in the city. A spokesperson said that 96% of these notices were related to unpaid rent, with the landlords being owed a total of $186.5 million. A map on evictions.lacontroller.io shows specific neighborhoods and zip codes that are highly affected. The interactive map shows details such as the notice type, the cause, and the amount of rent owed. In Hollywood, over 3,500 eviction notices have been filed, while the Fairfax neighborhood has seen around 2,400 notices. Other hotspots include Woodland Hills, Westlake, and downtown Los Angeles. According to the Just Cause Ordinance by the California Apartment Association, a tenant may only be evicted for non-payment of rent if the tenant's total rental debt owed exceeds a monetary threshold amount equal to 1 month of fair market rent. LA's COVID-19 tenant protection program ended in March, requiring renters to pay their full monthly rent to prevent eviction. In response, the city has initiated an emergency rental assistance program, which is currently accepting applications until October 2nd. The application system can be accessed online at housing.lacity.org or by phone at 888-379-3150. Christina Corona, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Glowing blue dolphins in bioluminescent waters. A group of lucky boaters were treated to this once-in-a-lifetime show as they headed out off the coast of Orange County.
This group of boaters were lucky enough to see a pod of dolphins glowing electric blue as they swam through bioluminescent waters in Southern California's Newport Beach. According to Jessica Rome with Davies Locker Whale Watching, the phenomenon is caused by photosynthetic plankton blooms. These algae blooms produce toxins that grow out of control and create a red tide during the day. At night, they glow blue, creating what some call a magical natural phenomenon. According to scientists, warmer water temperatures and more man-made chemicals washing into oceans can result in conditions favorable for algae blooms. But not all algae blooms are harmful. Most provide food for ocean animals. Scientists at the National Ocean Service have been monitoring and studying harmful algae blooms for several years in order to determine how to detect them and forecast their location.
Now let's check in with NTD's Tyler Castillo for our sports roundup.
Thank you. I'm Tyler Castillo, taking you through California Today's Sports Roundup. The San Jose Sharks played against the Anaheim Ducks in a preseason matchup and lost 4-2. They played in San Jose after winning the previous preseason opener. The Ducks scored 3 goals in the first period, which dug the Sharks into a deep hole immediately, which was not possible to get themselves out, unfortunately. In the third period, the Ducks and the Sharks both scored, while in the second period, only the Sharks scored 1 goal. The Sharks played against Alex Stalock, who was the goaltender for Anaheim, who stopped 15 out of 17 shots. Fun fact about Stalock, he used to be a San Jose Sharks goaltender, and he was drafted from the Sharks from the 2005 NHL draft, where he was selected 4th round. Mackenzie Blackwood was the Sharks' new starter, who was acquired during a trade this offseason. He stopped 21 out of 24 shots, and the expectation is that he will become the starter in the regular season, beating Capo Kakinen, who's been with the Sharks since last season. For the Sharks, William Eklund and Mark-Edward Vlasic both scored. Ducks 4, Sharks 2. The NWSL, or the National Women's Soccer League, announced that the Bay FC, the new soccer team here in the Bay Area for women's soccer, has a new coach. Alberto Montoya spent 2 seasons with the San Jose Earthquakes, so it's not so much a change of scenery for the coach. This will be the first coach in the Bay Football Club history, and Montoya was selected by the general manager of the football club, Lucy Rushton. Bay FC will play in the upcoming 2024 season for their inaugural season.
I'm Tyler Castillo, and that was today's Sports Roundup. Back to you.
Thanks, Tyler. That's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjin World, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.